Okay, so I'm here with Ben from Goatwhore, and I've got a few questions for you if you're ready.
I'm a piece of shit. I went to Zaxby's.
Sorry about that. Yes, ma'am. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
So how has your tour been so far with them on a mark?
It's been actually really good, man. We got, let's see, we started on May 1st in Pensacola, and we did Pensacola, Baton Rouge, and Memphis so far. And it's been really good. We meet up with them. We have a day off. Today they were playing that Carolina Rebellion Fest, and so we're doing this show on our own today. And then tomorrow we meet back up with them in Richmond. But all the shows have been really good, man. Really good response and everything. I mean, I even like when we're on stage, I ask people like, you know, how many of y'all is the first time you're hearing Goatwhore, and you see a lot of hands go up, which is, you know, unique. It shows you how big the metal scene in the world is and how many bands there are out there and how many bands people still haven't heard yet too. So it's really fucking cool to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you have any future tour plans, like after this, anything set up?
Yeah, we're gonna be doing we're gonna do a run on our own in June with a couple of bands going to like the West Coast and up into Western Canada. It starts like June 9th to like the end of June, and then we're gonna have some things in the works for like September and later this year. So once the album comes out, like at the end of June, everything will kind of get rolling, and we'll be back to our touring agenda.
All right. Do you have a favorite thing about touring?
The food. Well, no, you discover different food in different cities, you know, that you don't really come across. Like everybody. Okay, so what? A lot of people come to New Orleans because of the food most of the time.
Yeah.
And the history and things like that, but when we go on tour, there's a lot of things. That's a lot of aspects too. It's like you find different places to go eat, you know, that you don't have at home, and so that's a plus about touring.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about your upcoming album, Vengeful Ascension?
I feel pretty fucking happy about it. I'm stoked how everything came out. I'm very pleased with the whole of it and the music. Everything just about it is just. It's definitely like the next step, the next progression, the proper evolution of what's going on with this band.
Awesome. What are your biggest influences? Like any other musicians or books or movies, anything?
Oh yeah, I mean there's a mixture of things. You know, we are influenced by a lot of variations, especially within extreme music. There's so many, or just like heavy metal in general. You go back to like earlier stuff like, you know, Priest and Motorhead and things like that, and then throughout, you know, time you have different things you listen to that kind of evolve into there. You know, like as you're growing up, you know, you have bands like Exodus and Bolt Thrower and things like that. And then, you know, as you go, there are newer bands that come out, and some of the newer bands are doing, you know, keeping the flag up and still doing the proper thing. So I think as time goes along, it almost like it comes full circle. Everything kind of goes around and then comes back in full completion again. So there's a lot of variation there, and especially like if you listen, you know, to a lot of our material, we have a lot of that mixture, you know, between black metal, death metal, thrash metal, you know, all those kind of aspects. Even like old classic heavy metal, we have like little elements of that mixed in as well. So I think it's all, you know, just a part of everything we've been influenced by throughout, you know, through the duration of us being kids now. And actually another thing that's unique is sometimes, you know, there's things you grew up on, but now that you're a little older and they kind of come back to it, you have a different kind of influence from it because you hear it in a different sort of way, or becoming more of an evolved musician, you hear a different aspect of it that kind of influences you. So I think through time, the influence for something you grew up on even changes in that aspect.
Yeah, I get that. Is there any like new bands that you've been listening to a lot recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really into Valenfire. Memoriam actually is fucking awesome. That it's you know, the singer and some guys from Bolt Thrower and things like that. And since Bolt Thrower kind of closed things up for a bit, they have that. So there's a bunch of things going on out there that are fucking really unique and cool.
Is there any bands that you think are like really underrated?
Yeah, fucking tons of them. Tons of bands, like especially if you look at the scheme of things and how some of the bands that are, you know, on a higher level, you look down and you see there's so many other bands that are really unique and really fucking busting ass and sound fucking original compared to some of the quote unquote bigger bands.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song to play live?
Not necessarily one. I mean, I really enjoy doing all of them pretty much. You know, they all have their own kind of individual aspect within what we do. So each song has its own little element in a live setting and everything. So I think that's cool too because it keeps the flow within a set too. You know, because you're playing a lot of these songs over and over again, but it's cool because at this point we have so many records and so many options to choose from. We have a lot of variation in what we can do live and how we present it, how we put it together in a live setting, you know, because like sometimes we have songs that we group together and just kind of flow them in a row and things like that. So I don't have like a one set one. I just think they all have their own little kind of personal attributes that benefit within the set when we play it.
Yeah. Can you tell me the story about how you joined Goatwhore?
Oh.
What was the question?
Can I tell her the story about how I joined Goatwhore?
Yes, of course.
It was actually a situation. Sammy was involved in a bar brawl in Baton Rouge, and shit got fucking out of hand, and he got his jaw broken.
Oh, wow.
And I was into like the shit they were doing, and I offered to kind of be part of the situation until his jaw healed, and then we just kind of left everything at that.
Because I was originally singing.
Yeah.
Well, they had another guy sing, but he left the band,
Yeah.
and then he was just playing guitar and singing because
I tried to
Jared.
find 7 dudes in a bar drunk and it didn't work out to my
So that was the evolution of how I pretty much got into the band.
Do you know how the band got its name?
Yes, I do.
How?
But it's a long story, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically stems from a crazy night at a bar, at a strip club with some friends of ours, and you always have that one friend that's a little obnoxious, over the top when they drink. Everybody has that friend.
Yeah.
And he was like, he noticed there was this one stripper, and she had her hair in her pigtails, and she had this weird kind of elongated face, and she came around after her little dances, you know, to do lap dances or whatever, and he got up and knocked over the table in his chair, and he said something like, "Get out of my face, you goat whore," or something, and Sammy was there and kind of like took the name. But then there's different more elements besides that are associated with the name, but you know, that's like I'm sure you can look it up in places and you'll see the story being told numerous times.
So your albums usually like use ideas of like Satanism and things about Lucifer a lot. I think this new one is pretty much about Lucifer, but not exactly as an evil guy.
It's kind of mixed. I think as we went along, things got a little bit more delved and deeper about it, and then so it kind of went from, the basic evil kind of band, upside down crosses, pentagrams, things like that, where we evolved more in the interest in the readings that we were involved with, kind of flowed more into like the lyrical content and stuff like that, and more Luciferian approach. But then also, like especially with like the new record, there's a lot more different things in there, like from older literature, like Milton's Paradise Lost and Dante's Inferno and things like that, and just mixed things from that I read, and then also it's mixed in is just personal ideas and beliefs and things like that kind of tied in. And some songs are a little bit more serious as far as lyrics go, and some of them are kind of tongue-in-cheek, and some of them are kind of like not so serious, because if you go through like our influences and you looked at older kind of like different metal and punk and things like that, some things were kind of tongue-in-cheek and some things were kind of serious. So I think that kind of impact goes along with the writing and everything of the music, and the lyrics kind of flow in that sense as well. It's like, it's almost like the music's written a certain way, and sometimes I feel like you have to put the vocals in that kind of way too, depending on the feel of the song and how everything is within the song.
Yeah, so how do you feel about Satanism as a religion? Like people who like are devoted, like that's their actual religion?
I mean, I think I believe that whatever you want to believe in and follow, you should. Everyone. I have no issues with anything that anyone wants to believe in. My problem is when people try to force their beliefs on other people.
Yeah.
You know, so, and the oppressive structure within religions. That's my issue. It's like, I don't have problems. Your religion has the fucking problems because you're trying to make people be like, this is what it needs to be. And I think people need to get off of that horse and not always be so like, I know some people are like, well, I just know what it did for me and I just want to make it happen for somebody else. Well, let an individual choose that. Don't force it on the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did your album artwork?
His name's Jordan Barlow.
Oh, okay. Is that the guy who's been doing it?
Yeah. He's done the last 3 records. So this record and then the last 2 records, he did Constricting Rage of Mercies. He did Blood for the Master. And I mean, if you've seen the newer artwork, you can see that his style definitely. He's really eclectic with his style. He can change things and do different approaches, different kind of things as far as like he does like just ink work or ink wash or painting. He did some like high on fire stuff that looks really cool. That's paintings and stuff like that. So he's and he has a tattoo shop in New Orleans called Abracadabra Tattoo, and so he's pretty busy overall. He does a lot of art for different bands and he tattoos a lot. So his schedule's pretty fucking crazy most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been with us for 3 records now. So
that's awesome. Do you mind if I ask Sammy a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, Sammy, it's not a bad question. I heard you had an interview with Gacy. Is that true?
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay, well, thank you, guys. That's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything that you want to tell your fans?
Yeah, buy the damn record. Don't steal it.
Don't steal it.
All right, thank you so much for doing the interview.
Okay, thank you very much.